What's up, LC students? My name is Josiah.
My name's Lauren.
And this is Ask Me Anything. So we're gonna dive right into it. Today we have my beautiful, lovely wife, Lauren. She serves here at Life Center as a social media coordinator, but also is a volunteer and leads our worship team every single Sunday night at LC Students. Do you have any words for the students today?
I'm so excited to be here. I can't wait for these questions. Let's dive into it.
So we have funny questions, cute questions, serious. We have some wild cards in here, so we're gonna have some fun with it today. So the first question we have, would you rather have Josiah bald or he wears jean jorts the rest of his life?
Oh, jorts.
So would you rather me be bald the rest of my life or wear jorts the rest of my life? This is great.
I would probably say the jorts.
Jorts?
Yeah, I love your hair. It's luscious.
Okay. Man, I'm gonna be cold the rest of my life.
No, that's one of my favorite things about you is your hair. So I would say jorts for sure.
Ooh, okay, the flow. She likes the
Jorts.
flow. Okay.
Jorts aren't that bad.
I can wear leggings underneath the jorts.
No.
Next question. How do you guys follow Jesus together? Ooh, getting a little
that's
serious.
a great question. When it comes to following Jesus as a married couple, I think it's really important. We try to make sure we're very intentional with praying together, with reading the Bible together, making sure that we're spending time together. It's biblical to be intentional with your spouse. And so we try to make as much room as we can for the other and our everyday tasks and just have fun together.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I would say definitely praying together is a big thing. Lauren always loves to pray before every single meal, every single time we go to bed. As much as we can pray, we pray, and usually we'll be going to sleep, and I'm like, and she's like, and I'm like, okay, Jesus, thank you for today. So prayer is essential. And Lauren just finished reading the Bible last year all the way through, so crushing our devotions and stuff like that. But I think being real with one another too is huge with what we're going through, being transparent of what we're facing. That leads us to kind of okay, now let's go to God in prayer and pray for that.
Yeah, we always point one another back to Jesus.
Yeah.
We both know that we can't fix what the other one is going through. We can't be the source, the ultimate source of hope for the other one. And so if Josiah comes to me, or if I go to Josiah with a problem, we both point each other back to Jesus.
It's good. On to the next one. What three things would you bring on a deserted island?
Oh, this question. It's a great question. I would bring things. Could they be people? Just
Things.
items?
Go for it.
Okay, for sure my Bible. Duh.
Too spiritual.
Spiritual answer. Probably you. Is that allowed?
Sure, go for it.
And my camera to take lots of pictures.
This is true. Lauren loves to take photos. We don't just have this as a prop here, but anywhere we go, we travel, always has her phone out, getting the photo, and literally we'll take the exact same photo and hers looks 10 times better because the angles and lighting that I have no idea about. So I agree. Take your camera with you. What is your favorite memory together? Aww, it's a good one.
Favorite memory together would probably be our wedding day, October 19th, 2020. 19! Ah! You guys, it's a new year. 2019, we've been married for over a year. It's okay.
Okay.
2020 was crazy, okay? 2019, best day of my life, hands down so far. I know that we're gonna have way more fun experiences in our future, but that's definitely my favorite.
Yeah, I would say the same. It was an amazing day. Okay, what is the hardest part of what you do?
My job?
Yeah, what's the hardest part?
I would say the hardest part is, maintaining, like keeping my focus or my sort. This is going to sound very spiritual, but we work in a church. I'm full-time ministry. This is just my life. When it comes to creativity, I have to make sure my source of creativity is God, is Jesus, because it's so easy with social media to get caught up in trends, to get caught up in like what every other mega church is doing. And so it's really easy to get sidetracked and compare your work with others, or want to do what everyone else is doing. So just making sure that I'm actually doing what I know I've been called to do, what the Lord has put in me, with my creativity, my abilities, my gifts. So.
Come on, that's great. So good. You're good at this. Okay, let's get a wild card in here.
These are, yeah, these aren't that bad.
I know.
I was nervous for
Okay.
nothing.
Oh, let's go wild card. Okay. Ooh.
Oh!
Both? Okay, this is for both of us.
Okay.
Both explain an awkward middle school moment.
Oh, jeez.
Awkward
You
middle
go
school.
first. You go first.
Okay. Oh, man. I would say there's a couple. I don't know if this happened in middle school. Actually, no, that one did. That was elementary school. Okay, in middle school, here's an awkward moment. It was the first day of school, 6th grade. And I don't know why I'm looking at the microphone, but the first day is 6th grade, and I had the freshest, cleanest, whitest shoes you could ever imagine. Truman Middle School, go Titans, khaki pants, tucked in, blue polo, white shoes, and I was feeling myself. I walked to school in them. It's crazy, I know. Walked to school with them because they live close enough to the school, and I'm walking up the hill toward Truman Middle School, and people start like saying stuff about my shoes, and I'm like, what's wrong with my shoes? Like, I just hear them making noises, and eventually they're like, bro, are you wearing Shacks? I'm like, yeah, man, these are cool, right? And they're like, no!
What are those?
And they weren't cool. Like all my Hooper friends were like, bro, it's Jordans, man, you missed it. I was like, I didn't really know at that moment. Like, I was like, oh, I'm going to middle school. I should get some basketball shoes. And Shacks were the cheapest at the time. So I got some all white Shacks, and I thought it was so cool. And I don't really remember wearing those shoes ever again.
That's so sad.
I know. It's
That's
kind of
so
awkward
sad.
though.
Yeah, a little bit, but my motto is like, if you want to pull it off, you do you.
In 6th grade, you can't have that motto though, because you're insecure and you're bullied. And I probably was like 5'1", like just got to 5 foot, you know, feeling myself. Okay, you go for it. What was your most awkward moment in middle school?
I know I had a lot. I had tons, but I think one that I can remember off the top of my head is I lived in Japan growing up. I lived in Okinawa, Japan, on an Air Force base. I grew up military, and over there it's very humid. The concrete, in the concrete, like in the roads, just the ground is like a mixture of concrete and coral. It's very bizarre, but what happens is the ground becomes extremely slippery when it's wet. And I remember I was running late for class. This was in middle school. I think like over there, middle school is 7th and 8th grade. And so I think I was in 7th grade, and I was running to class because I was super late, and our whole courtyard was outside. And everyone, like there were still people around heading inside the building, and I was running so fast that I just caught the ground just right. It had been raining, that I slipped backward. I don't know how that happened, but I slipped backward and fell right on my back in front of everyone. And and when you're in middle school, like that's the worst thing that can happen to you. Everyone laughs at you. You can't just like cover it up. You can't get up and be like, you know, act like you don't care. Like it's embarrassing. So that's probably mine.
Share, I know it's a little off script, but share the food with your toes thing.
Josiah.
Share that story. That's so good. That's so good.
Okay.
That was in middle
I
school
can pick
too.
up things with my toes. It's not that weird. I
But
feel like
explain
everyone
the
can do
story. Explain the story.
With my mom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys are in for a treat today. So when I was in elementary school, I was a super, big tomboy. I would play outside with all the boys and climb trees barefoot and just had a great old time. And one day I'd come home from playing outside all day long with bare, dirty feet, and my mom had made nachos. We were all sitting at the dining room table eating our nachos, and I had finished. And there was one chip left on my plate, and my mom thought she was so funny, and
She'd love to do this stuff. She'd love to
just pick food off of our plates, just as a mom thing. And she grabbed the chip and she was laughing I stole your last chip. And what my mom didn't know was that chip had fallen on the floor, and instead of bending down to pick it up, I was in 4th grade, a super big tomboy, I just picked it up with my toes and put it back on my plate. And yep, exactly. I know, it's crazy. I'm a different person. and my mom was so mortified that she ate the chip that I picked up with my toes, and she tells the story
all the time.
All the time.
It's we've heard it before.
Haunts me.
But the funny thing is that being married, maybe this is a guy thing, but I always love to finish Lauren's, she has leftovers, if she has things on her plate, I'm always I just go for it. And 9 times out of 10, I'm about to go for it, and she's that fell on the ground.
That's not true. It's happened one time. Quit lying.
No, all the time. I'm oh, I almost eat it.
If it's fallen on the ground, I haven't picked it up with my toes.
I know, but it's on your plate, and I'm just walking by. I pick it up with my hands, and I'm oh, okay. Yeah, let's go. Last question.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. How did you two meet? And on a heartwarming question.
Well,
tell them where it all started.
Do you want to tell them? It's basically Josiah was secretly in love with me.
This is how the story goes.
Okay, so we both served at a church downtown before we were here. Well, you were already here. But basically served in youth ministry together. I led worship, Josiah was a youth pastor, and we became best friends, and the rest is history.
There we go. Hey, if you're in youth ministry right now, which if you're watching, you probably are, you might find your wife in youth ministry. And if you're an adult leader, you might find your wife serving.
Ooh, let's go.
Those who serve together
let's do
belong together.
Can I ask you a question? Let's mix things up really fast. Who's a better cook?
Ooh, you are,
I'm
for sure. So I used to think I lived on my own for probably only one year. And I used to think oh yeah, I could cook. I survive and cut up vegetables and potatoes and stuff like that. And then we get married, and Lauren starts to cook a lot of stuff, which is really good. And then some days she'll go hang out with her friends, and I'm at home during dinner with no food, and I'm what do? Do I cook, or do I just warm up a pizza? And I usually just warm up a pizza. And then I came to this conclusion man, I'm really not a good cook. I just throw things in the microwave if I want to. So Lauren is definitely the best cook. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for Ask Me Anything. If you have any more questions, you guys can DM us on Instagram at LC Student Central. You guys can watch this, subscribe to YouTube, Live Turn Tacoma. We have our own playlist called LC Students. It's awesome. I almost said LC Students. LC Students. We love you guys. We will see you next time on Ask Me Anything.